Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today I want to talk about the National UFO Reporting Center and basically how that organization is pretty much, a gigantic data bank for UFO reports. It's incredible. A lot of people don't even realize this. There's a lot of people out there, as we talk about all the time, who just really don't care about UFOs or they're not interested in the subject. And, these people sometimes actually, encounter something themselves. So they'll contact the local police department, and the police department will say, they might look into it, but most of the time they'll say, hey, maybe you should contact the National UFO Reporting Center and, file your report with them. And basically all it is a database of people calling up from all over the place, all over the world, giving reports on UFOs. And you could actually go to their website and check it out, and you could, they have all different kinds of indexes you could check out. For instance, you could search their database for dates, by state, by shape of UFO, the date posted. For instance, like if you click on the shape of UFO, you'll get, there's a whole menu you receive. Like for instance, unspecified. In their database, the unspecified shape has a count of 6,346. A cylinder they have 2,260 cases of cylinder-shaped UFOs, egg-shaped, fireballs, all different shapes you can. If you want to search by disc, whatever, rectangle, triangle, teardrop. And I actually was going through some of these cases. You could go through this. You could spend days, months, probably going through the thousands of reports that are listed on here. Now, a lot of them, I would say, a vast majority of the reports do not come with any sort of pictures, but some of them do come with drawings, and some of them do come with pictures. I found some interesting ones. There was one, for instance, that occurred from a deer cam, and this was the report that was listed on this. It happened in Benson, Arizona, in June of 2022, and it had two pictures that were taken from a deer cam, actually within seconds of each other. The first one was taken at 2:00 in the morning, 2:00 and 57 seconds. In the morning, and the next one right after it was 2:01:08. So basically, within 5 seconds of each other, and they were both virtually the same, but not quite. There was some little bit of changes in the light, but it was a pretty amazing looking picture to come off a deer cam. What is this thing? It says here from the person who submitted this, it says capture from trail cam. Place trail cam out at night to capture wildlife. Captured these two images 1 minute apart. Actually, it was less than a minute apart. Nothing before or after. Nothing behind this house. Also submitted another report in May of 2022 of a different sighting. But anyway, these two pictures are very interesting. I've seen a lot of deer cam pictures over the years now, and they're always interesting. A lot of them are just unexplainable. Some of them I've seen look just like a craft hovering over deer. Actually, I've seen that. But these two pictures that were captured are interesting to me because this is an extremely bright object. This could not be something like a bug, a firefly, anything like that. What is it that showed up that caused the deer cam to take the pictures in the first place? It looked like it was illuminating the ground, everything below it. It's just one of these objects that are out foraging for wildlife itself to mutilate, perhaps. Who knows? But it's a very, very strange looking object, I got to say, and I thought it was worthy of talking about here. And again, for people who are listening to this on the podcast, I will have links to all of this stuff in the description so you could check it out for yourself. And also, if you want to check out the video version that I'll have on YouTube, I'll have the images posted on there. And then there was something here that happened in in August of this year, August of 2022, and it happened in the province of Salerno, and it was a disc shape. And this is two strange looking pictures here. Basically, they look pretty much the same, so I'm just going to post the one. But it says 3 UFOs shooting rays of light on the sea. And it states here, I was walking on a street late at night with my 2 friends when suddenly some rays of light shone on my right where the sea was. We all turned right and seen 3 cylindrical shaped objects flying and emitting an intense light from below. I quickly opened the camera app on my smartphone since I already had it in my hand and shot some fast, shaky photos. Just before I could steady my hands, the UFOs disappeared in the distance at what was like a Mach 4 speed. Me and my friends were so scared after that neither of us could sleep that night. So, I mean, these pictures are very interesting. I mean, what are these things? What are these objects that they saw coming out of the ocean near Salerno? That's very strange. Actually, there's 3 photos. Or no, excuse me, there are 2 photos, but they're very strange, multicolored lights coming out of them and then, rising out of the sea and then just taking off. I mean, could you imagine seeing something like that? Now, again, we have to take into account that, not all the cases, I'm sure, that the National UFO Reporting Center receives, some of them are probably hoaxes, right? You have to take out a percentage of that. Some of them, and actually, I'm sure some of them are just misidentifications of things. And actually, the people that the National UFO Reporting Center point that out. I mean, sometimes they'll give, if they think it's something like a star or something like that, they'll post that. But again, it's so interesting to go through all the different reports that they receive. I mean, some of them are, very interesting, and it's like some of the ones I'm showing you here. And then some of them don't have. They're not accompanied with any pictures. Most of them, I would say, most certainly do not have pictures. I guess, you have to keep in mind when these things happen, again, a lot of people say, well, it's all the picture's always shaky. It's always blurry. It doesn't look clear. Well, that's because these things, when they happen, it's unexpected, for the most part. It's just not something that people are expecting to happen. And then something shows up. I mean, a lot of times the last thing you're thinking about is grabbing a camera. I mean, in 1994, even though I did not have a camera anyhow, I mean, I was in shock when I saw a UFO back in 1994 when I was fishing. It was the last thing in the world. All of a sudden here's this giant object as big as a house floating right above my head. I mean, it's an amazing, scary, astonishing thing that happens. And so, not everyone could take a picture, even in this day and age when everyone has a cell phone. So, like, here's a case that's from September of 2022, so just recently, and it was from Spokane, Washington. Now, this one doesn't have a picture, but it was apparently entities were seen. It says here, disc with flashing lights, figure at tree line with glowing eyes. Sighting by me and my friend, UFO seen above through treetops to the east. Red and white lights, maybe blue, 100 feet off the ground. Due to the fact it disappeared immediately when we looked at it, felt like it had been following us and didn't want to be seen. I remember the way it moved was like a video game with no gravity where you could throw things around by dragging them with a mouse. Something about the way it moved seemed a dead giveaway it was controlled by an intelligent pilot. We walked to the center of a stone circle at the park, and an 8-foot tall humanoid figure cloaked in shadows appeared watching us from the tree line at a distance of about 20 feet or less. It had glowing eyes, and we could hear its heavy footsteps in the leaves. It blinked and was staring at us. It filled us with instinctual fear, and we walked back to the car between us and the creature's stand of trees, and it teleported to the other tree stand, and I could still hear its footsteps within 5 feet of me as we got into the car. I mean, I don't know. What do you say about something like that? I don't know. I mean, again, is this a real report? It could be. I mean, there's thousands of reports, and some of them are very strange to say the least. I mean, if somebody was going to make something up, I mean, you think it would be a little bit more detailed and more fantastic than this. There's just, it seemed like somebody's telling you this is what's happened and this is all we know, and that's the end of the story. It wasn't anything more than that. We think we saw this 8-foot tall humanoid and then we got out of there. And then here's another one, and this one has a picture. And basically, it looked like a flying saucer hovering in clouds, and it was like semi-transparent. Now, when I first looked at this, I was thinking, well, maybe this is a lenticular cloud. A lenticular cloud, of course, are these clouds that they look like UFOs for all intents and purposes. I mean, they're just clouds that are, they look like a giant flying disc. However, this one's a little bit different. I'm going to read what it says here. This was taken in Texas, League City, Texas. It says, in a cloud above my home. I took a pic of the clouds above my home. I didn't see the UFO until I looked at the picture later that day. Very strange looking. I mean, it could be. I just don't know. I mean, if it's an object that looks like it's using some sort of technology to try to attempt to render itself invisible, and somehow it was appearing anyhow. But I mean, it's a cloud within a cloud, and that's why I'm not sure if it could be a lenticular cloud. I guess it could be, but I'm not sure. But it is interesting to look at. I mean, it looks like your classic flying saucer. I mean, that's what it looks like, except it's like you can almost see through it. Like it's set, like maybe the cloud gave it transparency. There was a thin cloud that it's hovering in, and it looks like that thin cloud could have been what caused it to become transparent. I don't know. Again, it's all guessing. But again, this is another case just on this incredible website that I highly recommend people who are interested in UFOs. I mean, a lot of people just aren't aware of this. They're just not aware of it, this site. But you have to remember a lot of the, a lot of people who see these things, people, like, for the most part, I would imagine that probably a vast majority of the people that contact an organization like the National UFO Reporting Center are not people like us, people who are highly interested in UFOs. Some of them I'm definitely sure of it, right? But I would say probably most of them are not. Most of them are probably have seen something, they can't explain it. They don't have any idea what's going on with UFOs. They've heard of them. They're aware that people say they see them, but they don't know if they're real or not. And then they see something finally, and it's like, wow, I saw something. And they tell their friends and family, maybe even contact the police, right? Maybe even try to contact the military. Right, and say, hey, this I saw this out of in front of my house, or I was driving home and I saw this object that was just incredible, and then next thing you know, they're told, well, there's nothing we could there's nothing we could do to help you. I mean, okay, you saw something. Well, what do you want us to do? Why don't you contact the National UFO Reporting Center? I'm sure that's one of the options that they're given. So, and that's what they do. So they end up reporting it, and or even that, maybe someone will just go online, do a Google search, or how to report a UFO, and this pops up. So that's what's going on here. Here's another case I thought was pretty interesting. This one happened in Missouri, towards Fort Leonard Wood in May of this year, 2022. And it states, it followed us for approximately 30 minutes, so while on my way home from work, it did not seem to be moving. If it was moving, it appeared to not be. It was hard to tell if it was a disc or a cylinder. I was on my way home from Camden, Missouri on Highway 5, and it looked to be above or in the general vicinity of Fort Leonard, Missouri. I live in Licking, Missouri, but I have an Edgar Springs, Missouri mailing address. Well, anyway, the picture in this case, it looks like, from a distance, it looks like it could be a cylinder. Another interesting image for the say the least. I mean, it looks like it could be a disc. If you're worried, like, I think this person's right. Whoever this person is that provided this report. I mean, it looked like from a distance it could be either a cylinder, or, I mean, if you were up close to it, maybe it is a disc. But of course, there have been cylinders that have been seen up close. Now, this person said the thing was just hanging in the sky the whole time and not moving, and a lot of these reports are like that, where these things hang in the sky for a long period of time and they just stay there. Whatever they're up to, nobody really knows. But just another interesting case. And again, for anybody out there who's interested in this subject, this is most certainly this is most certainly something that you want a website that you want to check out. And of course, if you ever see a UFO, it's a website that you want to contact and provide your report to, so everybody else could see what's going on too. Actually, unfortunately, back in 1994 when I had my sighting, neither I nor my friend who were there reported it. I never reported it. I've talked about it, but I never filed it with anybody. But I probably should have, because it's interesting. I mean, the more we have of this, it just, again, more fuel to the fire. It just lends more. It makes it impossible to say this is not happening. It just does. But anyway, I highly recommend everyone checking out that National UFO Reporting Center site. I mean, there's just so much to look at there, so much to go through. Very fascinating stuff, and like I said, there's I'm not sure how many pictures you would say, the percentage of pictures are accompanied with each sighting. I'd probably say 5 to 10%. One other thing I will say though, the website, my computer was having some trouble sometimes opening up pages and stuff because there's a lot of information. So, I mean, depending on what kind of computer you have, it might crash your computer. I just want to throw out that little warning.